Here's one of the latest interviews from Rock and Metal Revival. If you want to hear the whole show, go to rmrshow.com. Brother, there's a tune I've been really digging lately. It's called Words and Nothing More from the band Windowpane, right here on Rock and Metal Revival. And, dude, you know how I found out about this band?
Doing acid?
No. Well, yeah, I could have been, but they had a great documentary that was on YouTube. And,
I know, yeah, you shared that with me.
Yeah.
I actually watched it yesterday. Really cool stuff, man.
And we are very fortunate to have Tony-Abreu, the guitarist for Windowpane, on the show with us. Welcome to the show, Tony.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Hey, Tony, with the release of Windowpane, your self-titled release, this is actually your third release, right?
Yes. Yeah, it is, man.
And so you guys have been at this a while. You're not like a new band.
No, gosh, actually, the current lineup and where we're at now, I mean, gosh, I joined this band in 2005, so we're coming on 11 years now. It's crazy. I don't know where the time went, but yeah, and Mark and Glenn started a band over on the East Coast. They're from Maryland, Western Maryland. And they were calling the band Windowpane when they were teenagers. I mean, early teens. So yeah, so technically the name's been around for quite a while. But yeah, we've been doing it up in the Seattle scene together under that name since 2005. So it's been a while, man.
So not to mislead people that, you know, you guys being out of Seattle, you're not into that. You're not a grunge band at all. You're more of a hard rock, or not, I shouldn't say hard rock, a rock and roll band that kicks a little ass.
Oh, well, thanks, man. Well, we're into all kinds of stuff. You know, we love lots of the stuff that they were calling grunge. It's funny how they kind of pigeonholed lots of Seattle bands with that word.
Yeah.
Because lots of those bands under those names, I don't think sound anything like each other. You know, I think they just wanted a name for the new stuff that sounded honestly more kind of 70s rock to me, as opposed to what was going on in the late 80s. So I think when that came out, people went, God, we need a new name for this. Let's call it grunge, you know?
Yeah.
But I totally get you. We, lots of our roots are in like 70s rock and roll, all the way through like, you know, Guns N' Roses and stuff like that as well. Just that kind of more, I don't know, dirty rock and roll has always kind of just been more of our thing, I guess. You know, Zeppelin, Aerosmith, you know, things like that, all the way through a lot of, you know, thrash metal like Megadeth, you know, Metallica, of course, and yeah, actually, we kind of span all kinds of different influences. But yeah, we ended up sounding like we sound.
Yeah, when Red's like, here, you got to check out this band. They're from Seattle. I'm like, oh fuck. Oh shit! I'm gonna be. First thing I did is go halfway through the song and listen if there's a guitar solo, and then I'm like, yes, there's a guitar solo. Okay, I like this band because yeah, that grunge thing when they did that, and then it kind of took. You know, you spend all those years learning how to be a great fucking musician, and then nobody gives a shit. They just want to play power chords.
Yeah, it's funny. There was a certain era there. God, right? I mean. I was a teenager at the time, but I got into playing guitar really young, and I was I was into Eddie Van Halen and Clash and all kinds of stuff, you know, and then there was like a era there where I think you didn't hear a guitar solo on the radio for about 3 years.
Yeah,
you know, and it was weird, man. It definitely was a little scary, you know, but as we've seen, you know, things kind of go in circles.
Exactly.
You know, and I think it seems like each generation is kind of a rebellion against the last one, right? You know, there's a little bit of that going on every once in a while, and I think because the 80s became such a technical thing for lots of players, you know, which is fun, it's cool. A lot of great players came out of that era, but that's why I think the rebound of that was just total, you know, let's just play 3 chords and not do any solos. But that being said, though, lots of the bands, it's like Jerry Cantrell, you know, fantastic solos, you know, and lots of bands still were doing solos and whatnot out of this area, but I totally know what you mean. I mean, there was definitely that thing that went on for a while, and it was a little scary, man.
Yeah, so your new album's pretty refreshing. I'm appreciating that.
No, thank you.
Well, Tony, the way I found out about Windowpane was actually somebody sent me the documentary. They're like, dude, you have got to check this out. And
oh, that's really cool.
Now, who came up with that idea? Because, I mean, you really show the struggles of being a band in the current music industry. And I know a lot of artists that we have on this show really hate the state of where music is right now. So, I mean, who came up with the great idea?
Oh, well, thank you. That was my brainchild. It was my film. I mean, I actually made the whole thing start to finish as well. It was one of those things. We had gotten off tour with Five Finger Death Punch. We had done really well on that tour. We were out with Queensryche before that and whatnot, and we were really just starting to get out there and do a lot of stuff. And then we had a issue with our drummer at the time, and we lost a lot of momentum. And so we had to replace him, and we found a new guy, Sean, who's been fantastic. We actually credit him to quite a bit of the new energy on the new album. But yeah, we had to just kind of went through a down period there. And it was funny because one of my thoughts was, well, how can we just kickstart this thing? How can we really get it back out there, once we do this? And we realized that it was time to do a new album. The other one had been several years, and we had this new thing going with Sean, and we're like, man, we really got to track this. So now that we're going to do this, we took basically a couple years, I wouldn't say off, but we weren't out on the road for a couple years, so we could actually just really focus on writing this new album. And one of my first thoughts is, wow, well, how are we going to kickstart this? How are we going to get it back out there? And I thought of all the bands that did the behind the musics, right? And it's like bands that you haven't even heard of, even bands that were always well known, but it's like, Motley Crue was playing basically kind of little clubs, and they put out this, or I say large clubs, but they weren't playing, the big stadiums that they were used to. And then they put out this behind the music. Everyone knows there was a needle dangling out of my arm, and bam, those guys were just huge again. And it was one of those thoughts. I was just kind of like, man, that'd be cool. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about. That was another angle too. Was man, we'd be telling our story to lots of different people from the music industry, people who are actually, hitters in it. And they would all say, wow, man, you guys have a great story. And we heard that several times, and that was another key factor as well. And so just got down to, hey, guys, give me all your old VHS, give me all your old shows, give me all your old photos. Just started scanning and uploading to, VHS to a digital, and just putting it all together, getting interviews, and it just started to kind of come together. Then I had to figure out how to use all that movie software, man, and I'm a tech-hearted guy anyway. Give me anything from 1978, and I can figure it out great, but,
Yeah.
But, Tony, I watched the documentary and about the record companies. Don't you kind of blame corporate radio for what's going on in the music industry right now? Because a band like you deserves to be on rock radio. And, and that's one of the reasons Jerry and I put this show back together, is so bands like yours would be heard. And don't you think that rock radio is really stifling bands?
Oh, well, thanks, man. Yeah, and for definitely for the people listening who aren't quite sure what that means, but basically what that is there was a law that was in place before 2002 to where one company could only own 40 radio stations. And so, yeah, in 2002, they lifted that law. And, I mean, within no time, within 1 year, Clear Channel went from 40 stations to, it was over 1,200 or something. And so, yeah, basically what happened was the on-air hosts lost their freedom to play whatever they want. Mm-hmm. And so now there's a corporate playlist basically coming from the top. So there's just a few people deciding what every station that they own, which is now tons of them. There's really only a few companies that own everybody. And so, yeah, the freedom to break new bands, which when you think about it, how many bands were broken over the radio?
Yeah.
over the years by some local unsigned bands. I mean, gosh, I can count like 10 just right off the top of my head just from Seattle. Mm-hmm. And yeah, they lost that freedom. That was definitely one of the huge factors of the perfect storm that killed the music industry that we once knew.
Well,
definitely.
Yeah, and here's a quote that I read, and I need you to verify it for me. It says, Windowpane has moved more than 10,000 CDs completely independently to date, and the majority of those were sold only doing 31 shows on the road. Is that true?
Yes.
Wow.
Most of the CDs, and we've done many more dates on the road than that, but what I believe that statement means is, that was when we were out with Five Finger Death Punch and Queensryche.
Yeah.
And in that time, gosh, yeah, we sold probably half of those numbers on those 31 dates. I mean, we were out with Five Finger Death Punch. That was only 14 dates on that tour. And we moved over, 3,000 or 4,000 CDs on that tour, just those 14 dates. Yeah, we've actually found that we'll do about 10% of the crowd, which means if there's like 2,600 people there, we'll sell 260 CDs. If there's 3,800 people there, we'll sell 380 CDs. So that's been kind of the common deal, or as some people call it in the industry, that's a $1 per head. But what we found out after getting off those tours is that just doesn't happen. So we were super stoked, It was a great sense of actual validation for us, especially all the years in the trenches. Just kind of coming out of that going, wow, man, okay, so here we are. None of these people know who we are in every market that we're playing right now. And they're actually digging it, So that felt really good, man, yeah.
Well, that's cool. Now, I'm a guitarist, and I know you're a guitarist, so here's my guitar question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the talk box is not used enough anymore?
Oh, man.
Peter Frampton. Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, totally, man.
See?
Scorpions, Matthias,
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many great ways that it's been
Joe
used.
Walsh.
Yeah, totally, man. Slash
See?
definitely threw it out there here and there as well, but, yeah, it'd be cool to hear a talk box, come back in something, and I'm sure someone's going to do it. And if they don't beforehand, we might even do something on our next record with it.
I'm spreading ideas.
That'd be definitely fun.
There you go. And say cuss words with it. There you go. That would be bad.
Totally.
And as we talk before the show, make sure there's plenty of cowbell on the next album.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
So what's the plan right now, Tony? You guys going to tour the U.S.? What's going on with Windowpane?
Yes, we are, man. Well, we just released our new album on January 16th of this year. So, and basically anyone who wants to find the record, you can find it on windowpane.net, and that's one word, P-A-N-E. But, windowpane.net, you can get the CDs, downloads, all that stuff. You can find a link to the film, which you can watch for free in HD from our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
But, right now we are doing everything we can to get it out there on different stations. KISW here in Seattle, which is actually one of the bigger rock stations in the entire country, we come to find out. But those guys have taken it upon themselves to put one of our songs in regular rotation. And that was that song that you guys played a minute ago, Words and Nothing More. And, those guys really have our back. We've known those guys for many years, and they've helped us promote local shows and whatnot. Those guys know our full story. They know where we come from. They're really great people. Glenn's been great friends with those guys for many years, and so they just they decided to go through all the red tape that they had to play one of our songs. So that's been really cool. And right now we're trying to get other stations to follow suit. And since they are one of the bigger intercom stations, there's a little bit of weight with that. And we've also just played at a radio convention in Las Vegas. They kind of showcased our stuff to a lot of different people. So we're hoping We might get picked up on a few more stations, and we're going after quite a bit of the smaller stations as well, because honestly, a lot of the rock fans are in the small towns. Hell, we all come from small towns ourselves, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's that'd be a great way to build a nice, solid foundation as we hit the road. And right now, we're gonna stay out there as a support act in the meantime, because that's the best way to actually reach quite a bit of people for now, you know, and until we can get an actual fire going with stations and whatnot, you know, just going out there playing in front of other people's fan base and just hoping you go out there and just do the best job you can. You know, we found that works pretty well for us. We're definitely a live band.
Nice.
Cool. Well,
so yeah, we have plans to hit the road this summer. We're talking with a few different national bands, international bands, and trying to work it out where we can kind of jump on the boat with them and get out there and hit as many cities as possible.
well, we hope to see you live up here in the Midwest real soon, and we're going to play another cut off your CD called Legends and Liars. You want to tell us a little bit about this?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, Legends Live. That was actually Glenn, our singer guitarist. That was one of his riffs. He came in with the riff, and it was kind of this all just kind of fast tune, and we were kind of feeling it slower, and we're like, dude, what if we drop out here, you know, and I'm Sean and Mark, our drummer and bassist, kind of filled it in with that verse thing, and the lyrical content, Glenn is definitely aiming that at the reality TV shows of, you know, find the new talented band.
Nice.
You know,
Yeah.
You know, I won't mention any names, but everyone knows the shows that we're talking about.
Exactly.
And you know, and just kids these days, the whole basically country these days. What is the message of that? You know, what is that saying? This is how you become a successful person.
Yeah, you wait in a long ass line, and then you go sing in front of a couple people and hope
you know,
then
and
you're famous. That's it.
Yeah, and they always pick a lot of the people who really don't have the talent, so, you know, everyone can make fun of them, and it's just, you know, and then there's the people, honestly, kind of, lots of them with mediocre, basically karaoke skills, I would say.
Yeah.
And they put them out there, and they blow them up, and they tell their backstory, and they have sad music in the background. Yeah, I don't know, man. The entire thing, it's definitely not the feel like when we were kids, you know? I mean,
for sure.
If people were famous, it's because they had something that earned them the right to be. They weren't famous just because they're famous. There's so many people now, Paris Hilton or the Kardashians. Why are they famous? Do they have some specific skill set or something that makes them
tapes.
like, oh, dude, they are the best? Yeah.
Got to make sex tapes.
Yeah, you guys ever thought about that?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what you guys need to do for the next release.
Oh, God, dude,
release
you're so right.
These undocumented sex tapes.
Or just call the next CD Sex Tape.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go, man. Yeah. You can do a sex tape video with it.
Yeah.
Or talking sex, and you can do it with the talk box.
With a talk box.
Yeah. Oh, dude, there it is.
We're full of fucking ideas. We're full of ideas here.
Oh, totally,
We're full of a lot of stuff.
We're going to get you guys on our production panel.
Nice.
There you go.
Well, Tony, we appreciate you taking time out, being on Rock and Metal Revival. We wish you the best, and you are always welcome here on the show.
For sure.
Well, thanks so much for having me, man.
To catch the whole show of Rock and Metal Revival, all you have to do is check it out on these affiliates. Mega Rock Radios on Saturdays from 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and on Uncontrolled Noise Tuesdays at 1 a.m., Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and on Saturday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern on UncontrolledNoise.com. And make sure that you leave them a message and tell them that you found Rock and Metal Revival on their stations. Enjoy this edition of Rock and Metal Revival.